Now, are you in favour of town planning that ensures your work, your shops, your education needs, your healthcare and leisure are all within a 15-minute walk or cycle ride of your home? On the one hand, the idea sounds benign, but in British cities including Bath, Canterbury, Edinburgh and Oxford, the very idea is being actively challenged by protesters who fear the thin end of a dystopian, totalitarian socialist wedge designed only to strip them of their traditional freedom. I'm joined now by Alan Miller from the Together Declaration and shortly also by Nathan Albach, an urbanologist from Philadelphia. Alan, thanks for coming in. What exactly is proposed or being pushed in Oxford and the other cities?
So in Oxford, we've had a number of different things. So they keep calling them trials. So we've had low-traffic neighbourhoods they said were trials, even though 65% of people who responded to the consultation said they did not want them. Then you've had a proposal for bus gates. And bus gates, when they've put the proposal, without getting too complex, for the traffic plan for Oxfordshire County Council they intertwine that with the idea of a 20-minute neighbourhood. But basically, the bus gates mean you can have 70 passes to drive if you're local, 100 passes a year. But if you're not, you can't, and there's a ring road you have to go around. Slightly different in Bath, where you have a ring of steel, they call it, a very lovely name, and you have low-traffic neighbourhoods as well. And we've seen in other places, like in London, where Ealing, where they've got rid of low-traffic neighbourhoods because residents have challenged it, you still have a discussion about a 20-minute neighbourhood, and we might have some of these road closures as well. So basically, they're a top-down imposition using the idea this would be a lovely livable street, active travel. It's all about people-friendly oriented, but actually what it means is it's an attack on cars and our freedom of movement and independence.
That is what it feels like, because what I'm suspicious about is the fact that a coercive element is there first. You know, that whatever big flower boxes blocking roads, talk of fines for people that use their car on the wrong sort of journey too many times in the year. You'd have thought if it was a naturally utopian, good for the people initiative, people would just naturally incline towards it without having to be pushed.
Absolutely. Well, one of the things is as well that we've seen in Oxfordshire with the County Council, we've seen that in the consultation, they had a report and a survey done beforehand, but they suppressed it according to Freedom of Information revelations that were in the Times this week and the Oxford Mail until after the consultation ended, because apparently the councillors didn't want people to see what this would mean, would contradict their very own study. A bit like what's happened with Sadiq Khan, it sounds like, with the ULEZ situation. And our point at Together is that why we say free our streets but also take back democracy is that the public should be at the heart of town and city planning, urban planning. What we need in terms of travel, dynamic trade, infrastructure, housing. You know, what happened to local authorities, the idea they would provide decent services? But also, it's not just local authorities, it's central government have been underwriting this and funding it, which is why we've been campaigning, saying to Mark Harper and the Department for Transport, you need to cut this umbilical cord now, because this underwriting of road closures, undemocratically imposed, is damaging businesses. They're being forced to close down. We've seen it on the Cowley Road in Oxford. We've seen it on Middleton Road, 100 years of trade in Middleton Road, shops having to close. We've seen that in a number of areas across the UK now. And also residents, all types of residents, not what they say, which is conspiracists and far right, but a whole different demographic, diverse, multi-generational, all being impacted in a negative way. And I think that what's going to happen, Neil, is like we've seen in Littlemore and Ward in Oxford, that many more people are going to be standing independently, going to be challenging. Labour won it by a tiny clinch, by 100 votes. They brought out all the guns, lots of people to canvass, but that was a 3 or 4 week campaign that people stood independently. And as these low-traffic neighbourhood impositions and as these 15-minute and 20-minute neighbourhoods that are basically a technocrat's idea of what we should do, the great unwashed, how we should travel and not travel, without providing any better provision in any way, we're going to see much more of a fight back, and we're actually supporting people locally, nationally, to do that, alongside launching our cabinet.